welcome back to Matter of Fact. Today we got the rest of the games for you guys. Yesterday we did the early slate. Now we have the 4 o'clock and the Sunday night football, Monday night doubleheader as well. So we're going to kick things off with Carolina Panthers at the Vegas Raiders. Um, Obviously, Andy Dalton starting over Bryce Young. We'll get into some of that drama, but the line is -6. I'm curious if the line would be any different if Bryce Young was starting. Would be like -7, -7.5, maybe a half point. How much that quarterback position is worth. But how you feel about this game?
Yeah, I think that like again, I think that the line was bet down. I think it might have started a little bit higher, around 7.5. But some people have just some Carolina bettors have bet it down to 6. And I think that's because with the benching of Bryce Young, people are maybe trying to see if they can get some value on Andy Dalton in regards to him being able to be somewhat of a serviceable quarterback, and they do have some weapons now. Maybe they'll be able to get the ball, provide a spark. Chuba Herbert out the backfield and Deontay Johnson, to name a few. I think that this is a good line at 6. Carolina is going to go up against a tough defense with playing the Las Vegas Raiders, but that's kind of one of those things where something when the coach gets fired or when a quarterback gets benched, people try to rally behind the backup or rally behind whoever the next coach is, and they kind of come out with a little bit of a spark. And maybe that's what Andy Dalton can provide for Carolina, and they can play a tough game. At the end of the day, I think the Raiders still end up pulling it out just because they have a better defense. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah, if Bryce Young was starting, I might take the Raiders to cover this one. But like you said, something about changing, whether it's the head coach, the quarterback, not only are you game planning for Bryce Young, you're not really game planning for Andy Dalton and what he could do with these weapons. Obviously, there's a lot of veteran pieces. And Adam Thielen, people thought he was washed coming from Minnesota. Clearly, he was the main option last year. They wanted to add another weapon, so another vet in Deontay Johnson, who was the one over there in Pittsburgh. So they feel like, we should be able to win some of these games or at least be more competitive with a vet in Andy Dalton, who's, obviously been in the league for a very long time. Um, what do you think is going on with Bryce Young? Did you see the article from The Athletic um, about how they're done with him? It's kind of like conflicting reports right now.
I mean, I don't know. Again, like I said, he's kind of too early to tell. You kind of got to wait and see. I mean, we're 2 weeks into the season. He could get traded. He could get put back in. This is football. Quarterbacks get injured. So it's just one of those things where right now it's not looking too good for him. He's definitely in the red. But, within a month from now in November, he can get back in. Maybe he's gotten his stuff back together. Maybe, physically and mentally he's on the right track and he's playing better football. But right now I just think he's just in a bad place, and when it rains it pours. This is just adversity that people have to deal with, professionals and any level. Is just one of those things that you got to overcome. It sucks for him right now, but this is just what he has to deal with. This is the cards he's dealt. This is what's in front of his face, and we're going to see the type of man that this makes him. So, yeah.
Hey, we saw Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in Carolina, both killing it. They're both on undefeated teams, ironically, Vikings and Buccaneers, respectively. So I'm hoping that he gets a fresh start somewhere else. That boy Tepper needs to sell the team, man. I know it's not going to happen anytime soon because he just bought it, but like, man, what a terrible start. But yeah, in terms of the actual game itself, I don't know, man. I'm rooting for Bryce Young, but something in me is telling me that Andy Dalton's going to play a lot better than him and it's going to be a lot more competitive with Andy Dalton. And David Tepper is going to have his first like mini W where he's like, see, I told you, like we made the wrong decision. You know, we're trying to do what's best for us to win right now type of thing.
Well,
Which,
that's the coach maybe even felt that way. Like you can't. It's so early that you can't really, because one player is playing bad. You can't sacrifice the entire team season. So, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, it is unfortunate for Bryce. It's a sucky situation to be in. But, if the Carolina Panthers can get a win or get a few wins, they're competing. I mean, last year, ironically, the Raiders, who they're facing, dealt with similar adversities, having to cut or bench Jimmy Garoppolo, having to fire their coach, and they were in the hunt all the way up until maybe like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season. So, it's just too early to throw away the entire season for the development of the quarterback, or due to the fact that the quarterback is maybe not playing as well as you expected
so
him to
you
be.
like the move if it's like for development purposes.
It's not about liking it or anything. It's just about what the situation is. You know what I mean? Like I have no opinion on it.
I
But
got you.
it's just yeah. But it's just like this is as I they're in a situation where they got to do something, and it's the season isn't gone yet. So I think this is just a tough decision the coach had to make. And I think that the players kind of probably were behind him and probably, we're seeing the same thing that we saw. So they're like, yo, we got to get somebody else out there so we can compete. And that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't looking good. It wasn't looking good. I mean, we can make all the excuses in the world for him, but at the end of the day, it's not like, and he's performing well in spite of his situation. It's not like he doesn't have any playmakers at all. Um, yeah, so Brock Bowers, you start him. I think Devontae Adams is a good play here. Um, besides that, I mean, it's been a lot of injuries fantasy wise. Like I am cooked in my league right now.
Mhm.
Um, lost Pacheco, lost Puka, and now George Kittle's not playing. I'm over here playing Bretton Strange from the Jags, so hopefully he does well. Sure,
I mean,
but
you can always pick up George Kittle's backup.
I could, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how much they're going to really have to like air it out against this beat up Rams team. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go with the desperate Jags against the Bills Monday night. Uh, Trevor likes throwing it to tight ends, so
Yeah. And I think Zamir White, Antonio Pierce has talked a lot about getting him the ball, wanting him to have 20 touches. So this could be a game where they kind of deploy him a lot of different ways, try to give him the ball, especially at the goal line, so he can get a touchdown. And yeah, that's basically those are the players that I would play in this game.
yep. All right, I guess we can move on. All right, so Dolphins in Seattle playing the Seahawks, spread 4.5. Skylar Thompson's playing. Do you think Snoop is going to get the start maybe next week? And how do you feel about the Tua situation? Do you think it's kind of PR reasons they put him on the IR? I think I saw something about Raheem Mostert saying that he's not really showing any concussion symptoms, but I think it would have been a bad look for him to push him out like a week or two later, to be
Yeah, I
honest.
mean, it's better at this point if he's hell bent on coming back. I think it's just better at this point. Put him on IR, give him a month, let him go see some more doctors outside the organization, what he's doing, and you know what I mean. Just get confirmation as much as possible that everything's okay and his health is fine. Uh, I don't know necessarily if it was for PR, but he is their franchise quarterback, and if he misses 2 or 3, 4 games, it wouldn't be that big of a deal compared to him missing the entire season or him not being able to play football at all. So I just think the risk outweighed, what I'm saying, the reward and forcing them back already. or even 2 weeks out. So I think that's just them just giving him as much time as he needs to make sure everything's okay with his body and his mind.
No, I feel that. I feel that. Well, because Skylar Thompson's playing, and I don't really trust him, I do like the Seahawks to cover in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how well he's going to be able to get the ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Jonnu Smith, Raheem Mostert still doubtful. Um, what's the word on Kenneth Walker? Doesn't seem like he's playing. Is this a Zach
Yeah,
Charbonnet?
it looks like Zach Charbonnet is going to be a starter. And I mean, he did well last week. He scored a touchdown. He got caught a few balls out the backfield. So he is a solid start. If you have him, you probably already started, or you probably already have him in your lineup if you have him on your bench or if he's, part of your team. But yeah, he is a solid start for this week.
Yeah, and JSN had that breakout game. Um, really showing his stuff. Yeah, the Seahawks are fully locked and loaded, man. I don't care who's starting for Miami. We'll never leave you.
Mhm.
They're funny for that. You see that?
Yeah, but no, but as funny as that is, it's true. And like no one thinks that highly of Skylar Thompson as an NFL quarterback or anything like that. But when you think about the fact that they've had 10 days to prepare for this game, it does go to like they're installing, he's prepared to start, they're going to have something cooked up. I probably wouldn't take the 4.5 with Seattle just because I do believe in Mike McDaniels, especially a coach like him that has a few extra days to prepare. I do believe him playing a tough game, and I'm not saying that the Seahawks can't win this game, but I think it could be one of those that kind of come down to the wire.
Last minute field goal. Nah,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. Like right before you said that, I was actually double thinking it because that last game was, it was terrible, and I expect a coach like Mike McDaniel to come with a better game plan and show like, hey, we could make some stuff shake. Like show that you're on that Kevin O'Connell, you're on that Matt LaFleur type time, how he was able to work with Malik Willis and pull out that dub. You called that one. So,
Right.
I think this is going to have to be a coaching masterclass, but then you have
Some
Mike
pretty solid speed
McDonald. Is
guys
it
on the
is, is it
outside.
is it is it Mike McDonald versus Mike McDaniel right now?
Yeah.
Shit's giving me dyslexia, man. Mike McDonald. I feel like I'm mess. There's a yo. That's why it's messing me up. I knew it was a reason. Mike McDaniel, Mike McCarthy, and Mike McDonald. I knew there's a reason why it was giving me a slight headache just thinking about it, yo. These Mick
Yeah.
coaches, all good coaches though. So,
Yeah. For the
but
most part.
yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's don't be surprised if this is similar to the Packers game last week with Malik Willis, because at the end of the day, it's not like Tua airs it out. Me and Austin have been so split on the whole Tua thing, but I think if you get the ball in space with Waddle, Hill, HN, all you need is a couple explosive plays. They don't need to. It's not like Tyreek Hill is going for a big like possession, like high arc catch or anything like that. Like no need to high point the ball to him. Just get it to him in space. Let him get some yak, and it should be pretty interesting. But I think
Yeah.
if it was Pete Carroll still coaching, I might take the Dolphins as a dog. But the more I think about it, I probably won't even touch this one.
Right. Yeah. And again, the Dolphins also are a run heavy team. It doesn't seem like it because they have these stud fast wide receivers and all that, but they want to establish a run. So that aspect of the football, of their game is still, as long as they have their linemen and they're able to pull and do the misdirection stuff like that, they're still going to be incorporated into their offense. And they're prepared now to play without Tua. So it's just going to be something complete. It's going to be a completely different look than what we saw the last time we saw them on Thursday. As for, the Seattle Seahawks, yeah, right now Geno's balling. He's doing his thing. Hopefully, Jackson Smith-Njigba is taking his year 2 jump, and I'm excited to see what he does. I got him in one of my leagues, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a down game from him, so I could try to target him in a trade. I feel like he
Yeah.
has league winning potential.
Oh, for
So
sure. I mean, for sure. I obviously I'm down Puka, and he's in my lineup now, and I feel confident about it. I feel good about that situation. So yeah,
hey, and I want to point this out. So me and Austin are both in different leagues where you got Puka and Pacheco round 1 and 2 in
yeah,
that one league, right? I have the
mm,
same thing. So I'm out. I'm down Pacheco. I'm down Puka. So I wish we had like our lineups like kind of together because I'm sure we're not the only ones in that situation. I feel like that might have been a pretty common. What would you have like the 12th pick?
yeah. I was on the
Yeah, I
back.
had
Yeah, I
to.
was at the back end of the round.
Yeah, yeah. See, I was the 12th pick in my in that draft too. So I was like, let me get Puka and let me get one of these running backs. But I'll let you take this one away.
Uh, all right, we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Dallas Cowboys. This right here is one of America's favorite spots. Baltimore Ravens, quote unquote, playoff team, good football team, going against the Dallas Cowboys.
Quote
Uh,
unquote is crazy.
well, because they're 0-2 right now, so it's like, what I mean. Are they? We don't know yet. We got to see. But yeah, Dallas right now is probably going to. Well, they are projected to lose the football game. It's going to be it's pretty high over under. I'm interested to see what happens here. Obviously, right now Dallas can't stop anybody that's running the football on them. So I definitely could see with the pulling guards and everything, Derrick Henry and Justice Hill kind of doing their thing. Lamar, this is one of those games where I could see Lamar pulling the ball down, running over 8.5, 9.5 carries. Like he's going to do everything in his power to win this game for his football team because being down 0-3 in that division is almost like a kiss of death. It is. And that's part of the reason why I really wanted them to win last week so that they wouldn't be in this back against the wall desperate spot. As for the Cowboys, they're in the same situation, but
No,
we
no,
do
you're
this every
not.
well, we do
You're
this
1 on 1.
right, right, right. But we do this thing every year where it's just sloppy as hell at the beginning of the season. Mike McCarthy tries to run his plays and he's trying to play call and do all this craziness, and then it gets to the point where he has to go to Dak. Well, CD cusses him out in the lock in the meeting, the coach's office, and then after that he goes to Dak and he's like, "Hey, bro, I need you to save both of our jobs and do your thing, do the thing you do." And then Dak's able to play football. CD Lamb gets the ball, and the Cowboys look somewhat efficient on offense. Hopefully, we can do that starting out this week. But if it's more of the, I don't know, everything looks real difficult, everything looks hard to do, and we're not able to expose the deficiencies that this defense, the Ravens defense has with our offense, I mean, it's just going to be another long day. It's going to be another blowout. But we'll see. We'll see what they're able to do. Fantasy football wise, you already know you're starting CD Lamb, you're starting Lamar Jackson. I just said he's probably going to rush for. I would probably say he rushes for over 50 yards, 55 yards. I think he would also do over 8.5 rushing attempts. I think he's going to make sure that his team wins this football game. And strong starts, Dak Prescott, Derrick Henry, you already know. Zay Flowers had a really good game last year. Last week. And it seems as if it is a shootout, Zay Flowers will be involved. Again, I think he had 91 yards and a touchdown. So that's coming off the game where he had 39 yards or 37 yards and without any touchdowns at all against the Chiefs. But I think that Zay Flowers, I can see him getting busy in the slot in this one, especially with Trayvon Diggs playing on the outside. I don't know if this is going to be a Rashad Bateman game.
Yeah, make sure once again if you're betting to check the injury report. Seems like Kyle Hamilton's playing. Not sure what's good with Ronnie Stanley. Obviously, that's going to be really important for pass pro. But yeah, I mean, I just can't see the Ravens. So the Ravens haven't started 0-2 since 2015. Um, like you said last week, Gardner Minshew seems to have their number. this is going to be an interesting game because either way, it's either Ravens are going 0-3 or you are going 1-2 to start off the year, and you guys typically are a great regular season team. But it is early. The Bengals are 0-2 in that division. The Steelers continuing to do Steelers type things, like they're going to be in the mix no matter what, and then we still have to see about Deshaun Watson and how that goes. But I'm not gonna lie, like I gotta take the Ravens here. I didn't bring up my like line predictions, but I got this one on the money. I thought it was gonna be -1 Ravens.
It was bet to -1. It was
No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. I actually had I had -1 Dallas actually.
Oh yeah,
So did
yeah.
it flip?
No, it was. I think it's always been the Ravens. It's always
It's
been the
always been the Ravens.
-1.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I guess I wasn't on
1.5.
point with that. I
Yeah.
wasn't on point. So
So
yeah,
which
I had
is
the Cowboys because I mean you guys are at home, right?
yeah, yeah. We're at home, and I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be better. It's just one of those things where that's another problem with the Ravens. See, the Ravens' problem is they play down or up to their competition. So they were playing the Raiders, so they played down to their competition. Now they're playing a team that they are probably built like they're souped up to play Dallas. This is Dallas. We ain't been here in 4 years. But this is actually Lamar's first time ever being in Dallas Stadium. So
Really?
this, yeah.
Oh,
So this is that game. Again, Kyle Hamilton was on the injury report the entire week, but he's gonna make sure he play. He's not missing the Dallas game. This is team Super Bowls, and like I always say that, and
bro,
people think that
chill.
that's all right,
Chill.
but
This ain't
that's
the
what it was for
Ravens
the
Super
Saints.
Bowl.
That's what it was for the Saints.
You can say
Why?
that
Why?
you can say that for the Saints, but man, it's not no Super Bowl for the Ravens, man.
Well,
Don't
okay.
do that.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Cats that hadn't practiced all week gonna make sure they get in the game. That only happens when they play a few amount of teams in the NFL. I'm
Man,
just
it
saying.
happens when you start 0-2 for the first time in 2 years, and you just came off losing to Gardner Minshew and the
Right,
Raiders.
but all right,
So
we'll see. I'm telling you, we'll see. I know the Lamar that we're going to get. We're going to get that Lamar. This is not going to be sitting in the pocket passing it Lamar. This is going to be Lamar using his feet, doing everything in his power to win that game.
see, let me tell you something about Austin. Austin has these slick little ways that he throws shade. So I knew he was already throwing shade from the jump when he said "quote unquote" playoff team. Now this is the Ravens Super Bowl. Like
No, it's every
you
team's
treating them like the Commanders or something
it's
like
every
that.
team Super Bowl. It's every team Super Bowl. You ain't been here. You ain't been to the stadium in 4 years or whatever. You never seen it or you never did this. And bad, we about to show. We about to bust these motherfuckers' asses today. Yeah, Dallas and Derrick Henry. Didn't Derrick Henry want to go to? You said you were the one who sent me the article or whatever when you said that he was living in Dallas and he was waiting on the call. He said he never got a call. He never got a call. So you don't think, all right, bet. Y'all ain't want me on y'all's football team. Y'all wanted that slow, fat motherfucker running the football. Bet I got something for y'all. You don't think he feel like that?
I feel like they're focused on the fact that they're 0-2 and that
Okay.
we made the big splash move of picking up Derrick Henry. Is that a factor for him? Yeah, sure, but that's not a team thing. That's an individual.
Right, but as a factor for him, I'm talking about the guys. I'm talking about the Lamars of the world, the Derrick Henrys of the world. That's what I'm talking about.
So is your boy Jake Fergie? He good to go?
It looks like he's gonna be playing. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be playing, and Dak needs him. Like he didn't play. Our offense is fine if everybody's healthy. The second that one person's injured, I mean, it's just going to go. It's just going to go down the drain because we don't have enough depth pieces. Jalen Tolbert may be a solid little spot to play wide receiver 3. I think we should stop cycling out all of these wide receivers to figure out who we want to be wide receiver 3. Because, I mean, even again, last week, Jalen Brooks has a beautiful route. He cuts on it. And the second he cuts, he just falls. He just slipped, fell. Dak hits him, but since he fell, it's an interception. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like
it's funny. Did you hear they asked Tom Brady, like, oh, what would you do in this situation? It's like, oh yeah, he's not getting the ball for the rest of the game, pretty much.
It's over.
Is what Tom said. So
And as
yeah,
a
you can't mess up in that spot, man. I mean, this isn't practice, bro.
Yeah, and that's a that in that spot, it's like, yo, we need you to, as the quarterback, my wide receivers, I need you to be where I know you're supposed to be. You need to be where you're supposed to be at. Okay, that is the play. That's where I'm supposed to go with the ball. I hit you, you fell. You didn't get pushed. You didn't get nothing. You just fell. Okay, bet,
Slipped
bet.
on a banana peel. Hey,
You know?
that's the classic. Aaron Rodgers used to do that all the time with the Packers, where if he didn't trust a receiver and you did some fuck shit, you're not getting the ball. You're getting frozen out for the rest of the game. It's kind of similar to when running backs fumble, that old school. All right, you fumbled. All right, put in
Right.
RB2. We're
They might
gonna.
give you another chance if you fumble. You know what I mean? Fumble, they might give you another chance. But if you fumble twice, oh, buddy, yeah, get used
Yeah,
to the.
yeah. That's how we have to do it. All right, next up, 49ers at the Rams. Niners -6.5. Both teams dealing with a lot of injuries, but no one's had the injury bug as bad as the Rams right now. So I find it hard to bet them to win. And I don't see them, pulling an upset in this spot. But I wouldn't be surprised if they covered. It's a division matchup. But I mean, how you feeling about this?
Um, yeah, I mean, basically, I don't think the Rams defense right now is really even good enough to compete. And like you said, they're already depleted in regards to the injury side of things. So I just think this is a 49ers spot where they catch a break. I mean, they caught a division rival on a bad week, and that happens sometimes on Sundays. So I think, again, when it comes to fantasy, you're playing Kyron, Jordan Mason, Brock Purdy. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a game where they try to kind of build some chemistry with the wide receivers. Brandon Ayuk, Jennings, try to get
I
try to get
really
into
like
the end
Jennings in
zone.
this spot. If I'm
Yeah,
sure he's not available on your waivers, if you have him, he's definitely a good flex option with Kittle out, McCaffrey out.
yeah, hmm yeah. Like this is a spot where I would have Brock Purdy throwing probably 2 touchdowns. Like, I like I think one of the props for the week is Brock Purdy 2.5 touchdowns or 1.5 touchdowns, and I like that prop. So
Hey
you
man,
know,
I hope so. I scooped up Brock Purdy off the waivers, and I'm starting him. I have a Purdy Ayuk stack in that
oh
league.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
see, they got him. I mean, he's projected for 1.6. So basically, yeah, he's projected for 2 touchdowns. I like him for 2 touchdowns, and he's projected for 17 fantasy points. So if you have to play him, don't be afraid to play Brock Purdy this week in
yeah, I
this
think
in this
I think
spot.
the Niners game plan is going to be simple. They're just going to want to come out of here with a dub. You know, they're going up against a wounded animal, and so don't overcomplicate it. Expect a run heavy. I mean, it's Kyle Shanahan, so he was going to run the ball anyway. But out Debo as well. Did we mention that?
Well, oh yeah, I thought that was already kind of known.
Yeah,
He was out on
yeah,
Friday. He was announced on Friday that Debo wouldn't be playing this week, and then George Kittle looked like he got an injury later in the week at practice, and he's looking like he's going to be doubtful for Sunday's game.
yeah. And the Niners are another team that's kind of looking forward. We mentioned how with the Chiefs, um, Pacheco, we wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him until like January. Just hey, we'll hold down the fort with Steele and P. Ryan and Kareem Hunt, who
Yeah,
is on the practice squad right now for them. But
yeah, yeah. And I mean, I think especially when it comes to some of the situations, like, keep an eye on this Christian McCaffrey thing. Like, this Christian McCaffrey thing might not be a IR and I'm back situation. This might be weeks. This might be a few months he's out. And again, San Francisco 49ers are good enough. Jordan Mason's good enough to where it's probably not going to matter much. They're still probably going to be, up there in the race for the conference division. All those things that you need, number one seed, all those things you need for the playoffs to help help get you back to the Super Bowl. And that's their goal. I mean, their goal is winning the Super Bowl. That's what they care about. So don't be surprised if Jordan Mason is running well enough that they're just like, yeah, we're gonna let everything that's going on Christian McCaffrey, Hill, and then once he's healthy, we'll get him back out there. You know, you got he had 400 and something touches last year. So this was bound to happen. This was going to happen at some point.
Yeah, they were running him rampant, but they were very close, man. Overtime, but yeah, that game when the matchmakers were making it, they weren't assuming all these injuries. Can't account for all these injuries, so
Right, and the division games got to be played. You know what I'm saying? So it's what
yeah,
it
you
is.
gotta sprinkle them in the calendar somewhere, right? So Lions, they're going to the desert playing the Cardinals. Lions are -3 as an away favorite. This is my favorite over. I just don't see how this doesn't go over. I don't see how this isn't a
Okay.
high scoring game.
All right, hear me out. The only reason I would be cautious of the over is because both of these teams do not mind running the ball, and sometimes you know what I mean. Just based off of the fact that the pace of the game, if they're not passing, they're not getting that many incompletions, and they're using their running game, that clock is going. And I think sometimes it could still be maybe like a fast paced game, but they might not get the 51 points just because there's not high, crazy big plays going on, but they're they're having methodical drives going down the field, may end up with 7, maybe end up with 3, and it's still going back and forth, but we don't get to the total. Just cautious of it. Just caution of it.
I got you, bro. But I think that Arizona defense it wasn't really tested last week because of all those injuries against the Rams, and I think the Lions are in a bounce back spot. I think the Cardinals are out on a revenge tour with Kyler Murray back. He's getting that connection going with Marvin Harrison. I just think there's so many weapons on both sides. Like, yeah, they're going to run the ball. That's going to be the plan from both teams. But I think the Lions are going to start off running the ball successfully. And I see the Lions being up early. I could just see a lot of explosive plays. Like, I see chunk
No,
plays
no, no.
from
I'm
running
not
the ball.
doubting.
You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you. The only thing I'm saying is that this, like, you know what I mean? Just be
Look at all
mindful
the
of
must
these
starts,
guys.
dog.
Yeah. I
How
look,
many? All
hey,
the must. We got 6 must starts because it's like,
okay,
yo, all these players are going to go off. Hey,
right. All right.
all I'm saying is,
I'm
if
not saying that's not possible. I'm saying that's probably the 75% is that what everyone's talking about is what's probably going to happen.
can we see where
But
it
just be
opened up at?
mindful. Just be mindful. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Let me look them up. Let me look them up.
I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals won this one though.
Yeah, I mean the
It's
Cardinals
going
are
to be
good.
tough. I mean, the Lions have the better roster, and they're
But
coming
Jared
off.
Goff hasn't really been playing. He didn't play that. He hasn't been playing that well. Another solid start, or another pick. Maybe if you do anytime touchdowns, keep an eye out for Jamison Williams anytime touchdown. For some reason, I really like Jamison Williams, and I really like James Conner here scoring an anytime TD. Let me see where this opened up at. Hold on, I got it in my phone here. All right, let me see. Yeah, it stayed the same. It stayed the same. Yeah, it opened at 551.5 and it stayed there. So this didn't even get bet up. It's just staying put. That means that the money is
Money's
coming
coming
in
in
even.
pretty equal.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame them. It's a high total. I'm not gonna lie, but
Right. That's
if
it.
I bet this joint and the under hits, I'm not even mad about it.
That's
To
just
be
how it goes.
honest,
Right.
yeah, I'm not even
Yeah.
mad about it. I'm confidently smashing this over. It's my favorite over under of the week.
Yeah.
I don't see it going under, but obviously crazier shits happen. So
All of the data points to the over, which is why in my head now I'm like, oh, this is going under. And I did, and it maybe because I'm scoring because on Thursday, everything anywhere, all the data showed that Ramondre was going to get over 16.5 carries because in order for the Patriots to compete, they had to be run heavy, and he got like 7. You know what I mean? It's just
I wasn't really sure about that because I felt like, and we didn't talk about that game. I wish we really did because my takeaway or the way I was going into that game was basically I felt like Aaron Rodgers was going to start clicking. He looks like prime. Well, not completely prime, but like he looks like he's back. You know what I
But the
mean?
game got out of hand. The game got out of
But
hand,
yeah,
and
that's what
they
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I thought the game script, if they're up, then Ramondre's not really going to get the chance to run the
no,
ball
no, no,
like
no,
that.
no. What I'm saying is at the beginning of the game, when
Yeah.
they weren't up 2 scores yet or anything. The first 2 possessions the Patriots had, these dudes they're doing play actions to the tight end and all kinds of nut stuff. And it's like, bro, y'all were controlling the pace of the game. Y'all were averaging 5 yards a carry. Like, why are we doing new things today? You know what I'm saying? The first 2 games, at the beginning of the game, they started off run heavy. In this game, they didn't
Don't
start off
forget.
running heavy.
Ramondre had that big run called back offensive face mask, which is crazy. Like, bro, just use your palm,
Yeah,
bro. Like
yeah,
that shit was egregious as hell. But
that's how it
and
goes.
then he fumbled at the end, and that's why it was like he was looking good these past couple weeks. See, I'm known in my league, so I always get T. Higgins and Ramondre these past couple years. Didn't get either of them anywhere. I was like, I think it's time to hop off of this train, kind of similar to how I used to always get Austin Eckler. And this is one of the games where it's like, this is why I didn't really want him because Ramondre
But
is
they,
going to
but
have
weeks
those kind
two,
of games.
but weeks 1 and 2,
Yeah, it was looking. I'm a
yeah,
fan. I'm
yeah,
still a fan of Yo, but like
yeah.
still like,
You know.
he's liable for those type of games where it's like
Mhm.
run called back, he fumbles. Now you're -2. I think he put up like a point for you if you started him.
Yeah, yeah. But that's part of the game, and this is what happens when it's week 3. You know.
Who do you got winning this one though?
Um, that's a good one. That's a good. I mean, I think this is gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a close one. Definitely excited to watch it. I think that the Cardinals cover, but they don't win. I think this is another close game. And I mean, again, I could see the Cardinals coming out. They're playing well right now, and I think that if we had to, based on the teams, if they were even, which they're not, the Detroit Lions are more talented than the Arizona Cardinals. But the edge that the Arizona Cardinals right now, they have an edge at quarterback. They do. They have an edge at quarterback. I think Kyler is the better quarterback right now. He's playing better. It looks like he's starting to get some rhythm. You talked about Marvin Harrison, but also his other favorite target, or his actual favorite target, is Trey McBride. And that dude is a talented tight end. So, this is actually a battle of the tight ends right here with Sam Laporta going up against Trey McBride. It is going to be an interesting a game, but yeah, I think that Detroit finds a way to pull it out so that they don't fall to 1 and 2.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, bounce back game for them maybe. All right, so Kansas City Chiefs going into Atlanta. Obviously emotional, nice little comeback victory. I like the clip that they put on YouTube, the little 99-second mini movie. Very, very dope. Shout out to whoever edited that. Very dope. If you haven't seen that, it's worth the watch. Um, I think I watched it as a nice little Eagles hate watch for me. But the Chiefs are -3 going away. Um, the Chiefs are funny. So with the Chiefs, you never really want to bet them. If you haven't noticed, if you've been betting for years, Chiefs don't cover big spreads. This isn't a big spread in itself, but they tend to kind of play with their food a little bit. You know what I mean? So they kind of keep teams in games. They kind of play down the competition and figure out a way to pull it out at the end. Some Andy Reid, Pat Mahomes magic. Travis Kelce hasn't been doing a lot, but we know he could get going at any time. And then, the running back room is a question mark. We'll see how that goes. I know we've been talking a lot about that privately, but how do you think that's going to shake out?
I think they just don't know yet. I think they're going to, it's one of those wait and see approaches. They're going to go into the game, obviously, with Pat Mahomes at quarterback. Uh, Samandre Piron's been there for what, maybe a month or maybe 3 weeks. So where is he at with the playbook? I know they got this Carson still undrafted free agent. He seems like he's a tough runner, but I think Samadre probably eventually ends up being the more dependable back. They might get a nice little spark out of Steele, but yeah, I think that Samandre being the veteran, I think he's going to probably get the first crack at all the important downs, all the important work. And Carson, he's going to get some carries, get some touches, depending on the game script. And then obviously when he's up like he's ready to go, they'll probably activate Kareem Hunt from their practice squad.
Yeah, a prop I like in this game, I like P. Ryan over on receptions. I think he's going to be involved in the passing game a bunch. But
Okay, so what is? Do you know what is over? Do you know what it is?
no, I don't. What is it?
See. Projections.
So it's probably around like 2.5. I was assuming if I were to guess, it'd be like 2.5, 3.5.
Yeah, it's at 2.8. It's at 2.8. But again, yeah, I could see him getting quick.
I think I could see him getting like a nice 4 or 5 catches, maybe even more. Before when they had Jerick McKinnon, that's what they love to use him for, and then they have their back that day. But it's not like P. Ryan's like a terrible runner. You know what I mean? It's not like he's just solely a pass catching back. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do that. But like, I think, they've been more of a defensive run heavy team with Pacheco, which I don't blame them. They like to keep some of their more theatric plays in the tuck and save them for like important spots and whatnot. But, Kirk Cousins, he's starting to have things click. I think he seems more comfortable in the pocket coming off that injury. The thing about these injuries with quarterbacks too, you're moving around in the pocket. You're worried about the pass rush. And when you're a statue like Kirk Cousins, like it's something that's going to be in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? This is a mental game. Quarterback's the hardest position in the league to play. So I think they got a lot of confidence off that win. So this is going to be an interesting one. I don't think I'm really touching it, really.
Right.
Sheesh.
I mean, for me, like, yeah, again, we gotta kind of respect the Falcons defense. Like they got some guys over there. We mentioned it previewing in the season that they had a solid little core, solid little group with the DN adding Matthew Judon, and then the back end they got safety Jesse Bates, who I want to say was the player of the week, and also signing Justice Simmons to play free. They're solid, and then AJ Terrell at quarterback 1. So they're going to be a tough matchup for a lot of teams. They still have Rashid Rice as a no-brainer must start, which I agree with, even though I do believe that this will be the Travis Kelce week, just because I don't think Pat and Travis are going to go too long without having a nice little, game where they're both clicking and Travis is just killing it with the option routes, and you look up and he's got 8 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. That game's coming. I know it's not probably going to be as consistent as it was in the past seasons with Rashid Rice there and the speed of your boy Xavier Worthy, but I do think that this could probably be a nice little spot where Travis Kelce does his thing. I'm gonna actually go ahead. Let's look at this. Let's see what his props look like.
Yeah, this just feels like easy predict. This feels like a Travis Kelce game for sure with Pacheco being out.
Yeah, and I can see that 5 receptions for 53 yards. Like, yeah, I could see definitely that being the floor for this game.
Nah, for sure. And then obviously for the Falcons, you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney's looking nice for him. Ray McLeod is getting active. He's getting a decent amount of the targets. So well-balanced offense. You know what they want to do, though. Austin said that Bijan's looking like the best running back in the league. And then you still have Tyler Algier to give him some relief. So
yeah. And they got to I don't know what's going to make them stop giving Tyler Algier. He deserves the ball. Like, he deserves those carries. But I'm a Bijan fantasy owner, and I'm like, yo.
I was about to say, it sounds like you got some stock in there.
Yeah, but I thought we were done with that. I thought we were done with it. But and also
Bro, he
respect
had
to
a
Tyler
thousand
Algier.
yards before they
That's what
drafted
I'm
him.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like you gotta respect Tyler Algier. Like he is a good back. He would probably be a starter on, maybe 20, 25 other football teams in the NFL. So, it is clear he's capable. He's capable to do this. He hasn't. I don't even know if he's ever been injured. So, it is what it is, and I get it. You don't want to run Bijan into the ground, but like even when it was Bijan versus Saquon last week, Saquon was kind of doing his thing, but I'm looking at Bijan and I'm like, damn, and it's just, he's just a very good running back.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to use them a lot more and get creative with them if they want to pull this one out. Chiefs are a tough matchup, but I think if they come out against the Eagles and then they beat the Chiefs, that division's looking even more lively than we thought. With
And
the
they got to, I
Saints
mean,
2-0, the Bucks 2-0, so it should be interesting. All
yeah.
right, so what is this? Is this Monday night?
This is the Monday night game. This, I guess, I don't know if it's the first one or I don't know how it works, but it's the Monday night game.
It's the Monday night game. So we have the Jags going out to Buffalo. Trevor Lawrence, I saw a stat for him that I think he's just not. I mean, what's your take on Trevor Lawrence, bro? Because that's your boy. Like, you kind of always go to bat for him.
I mean, it's just, but he's not. I mean, he didn't play well. He's missing throws. He didn't play well. I'm interested to see again. It's one of those for me, to me, in my opinion, it's just one of those situations where it looks like everything's hard. It looks like everything on. There's no easy plays. There's no easy throws. There's no gimmies. And when you're um, playing in the NFL, you're playing football, you're playing up against a team that you got to work hard for every single thing that you're doing. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to win. Going back to the Saints game, Derek Carr, he even if it wasn't easy, he made it look easy. I mean, throws, just crossing routes. They need 4 yards, crossing route for 5 yards. Like play action. Everything is it just seems like for some teams, some of these offensive coordinators, they find ways to put their players in good positions regardless of their talent. And then other players, it looks like it's like, all right, I got to do everything right on this play for us to be successful. And then when it doesn't work out, I look really, really bad. And I'm starting to think that it's a little bit of both with Trevor Lawrence right now. I know Doug Pearson is a good offensive mind, one of the better head coaches, or has that prestige of being one of the better head coaches in the NFL. But it could be a possibility that the game has passed him too. And if Trevor Lawrence had one of these Kyle Shanahan disciples or Sean McVay type coaching trees out here calling plays for him, maybe the situation looks a little better. All right, that's all I have to say about that situation. But
I found the stat. So in Trevor Lawrence's last 7 starts, 0-7, as in like the record 0-7, and
right,
10 passing touchdowns to 7 picks, 1,600 passing yards, 82 passer rating. So I mean that's an average of a pick a game.
right,
You know, it's
right,
not it's not looking good, but they're 0-2. This is going to be a tough one for the Bills, I feel, because their backs is against the wall. All these 0-2 teams, this is a huge game for them. You have to keep that in mind when it comes to betting, the game plan, and how the energy that they start off with and the energy in that locker room. It has to be different. They got to be practicing hard. They got to mentally it's going to be a good one. But on the flip side for Trevor Lawrence, he seems to be a good primetime quarterback. He has good stats and a decent record primetime. So this is a good primetime game. The Bills been doing their thing with James Cook, obviously. Dalton Kincaid hasn't really gotten busy yet. I could see this being a Dalton Kincaid game, kind of similar to what we said with the Chiefs and Travis Kelce. Not like they're missing James Cook or anything like that, but sooner or later, I think he's going to get involved. Yeah. What else with this?
Khalil Shakur is an interesting player to watch too. Uh, Obviously, right now the Bills, they haven't been in a situation where they needed to pass the ball a lot. Last game they basically, it was over by halftime. They just needed to run the clock out. But even in that game, he got some decent looks, and it looks like he might be a solid PPR merchant. Might be nothing special, but he could give you 7 receptions for 79 yards, and that's 14 points right there. But then he ends up getting a touchdown, and now you got 21 points from Khalil Shakur. Yeah, so he's someone, if this Dalton Kincaid situation doesn't become anything, it could be the safety blanket could actually be Khalil Shakur, who is, I want to say, Josh Allen's longest running teammate right now at the moment at wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a trade target for me. Brian Thomas has been one of the better rookies this
Mm-hmm.
year. I felt like it was. I think when it comes to mock drafts, when I was doing my mocks, and a lot of people are doing their mocks, they had Brian Thomas going to the Jags, and it's been a good pickup for him after letting go of Calvin Ridley. So you have Brian. He has the weapons, man. Travis Etienne. His play's been looking a little iffy. Any takeaways on the running game?
It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate, They Travis Etienne, they're trying to, but again, the whole offense just looks like it's struggling right now. It's not
It's
like they
just
aren't
not
giving
clicking.
right. It's not like they're not giving Travis Etienne any carries or anything like that. It's just not it's just not working out. I mean, he's had, I want to say, almost 14 carries a game in both the games, and he almost scored 2 touchdowns in the first game, but the ball got popped out. And yeah, so I see 14 rush attempts, 58 yards, nothing too special, but at the same time, it's just solid. And I think the whole reason for people wanting to draft Travis Etienne was not for solid. We wanted to draft Travis Etienne because he was catching the ball out the backfield and he can break it at any moment in time and all these things. And we're just the offense, and that's why I'm not trying to shoot Bell to Trevor Lawrence, because there is no excuse for bad
It's
quarterback
it's
play.
it's, it's, a,
But it just
it's a
seems
little bit of
it
mail.
just. But I mean, what did he's not playing special either? You know what I'm saying? So at what point is that maybe the offense might need to do some other things and go a different direction, and consider that something. It's just something to consider. It's just something to consider.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting week 3, man. A lot of unexpected 0-2 teams, a lot of teams that, people like to try to predict the come up, because the good thing about the NFL, it doesn't take very long to go from a non-playoff team to possibly making a run. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's never the same playoff teams every year. There's always a
And
couple new
and
ones and a
also
couple of ones.
also
Go ahead.
we also got to remember, just like you can lose 3 weeks in a row, you can also turn it around and win 3 weeks in a row. You know what I mean?
Look at the Eagles last year. I think they went 11-0, and they lost like six
Mhm. 10 and
straight.
1. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
were
were
10
10
and
and
1.
1, and easily one of the worst collapses I've ever seen from
Mm-hmm.
a team of that caliber with those type of blue chip players all over the team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really any given Sunday like that. It sounds good, it rolls off the tongue nice, but it's the
In
truest
reality, it's
statement.
true. Right. It's a fact. But all right, we got a nice one. This is an actual, and it's an interesting one right here. I don't even want to call it a get right game for the Bengals, because we thought that the Patriots game was going to be a get right game for the Bengals, and they lost. So I mean, I don't really even know what to say. They had a tough emotional game that they had to play against the Chiefs. They always play each other close. Now they got to play. Now got Washington coming into town, and they should handle them. They should handle Washington. I think this is a game. This is a Jamar Chase smash spot, and I'm playing them in fantasy. But guess what? I'm also going to do. I'm putting money on his anytime touchdowns. I'm putting money on his yards. I'm putting money on everything because it's not going to hurt me when he goes off against my fantasy team. I'm getting some bread out of this. So I think this is a Jamar Chase smash spot. He got his boy T. Higgins is back. I think Joe Burrow becomes Joe Burrow again, and all is well in Cincinnati. This is what I feel about with this game.
Yeah, and we also have to keep in mind, like, no bias here, but like if we had a healthy kicker, the Washington Commanders are probably 0-2 right now.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I
And they
mean?
don't care
So
about that, but
yeah.
it's true.
But like, I mean, that's just the fact of the matter. I know Jaden Daniels, his stats look good.
Do they?
I,
Do they?
see, I, listen. I'm getting to that. Trust. I see where you're going with that, but Jaden Daniels, I see a lot of Commanders fans. They're kind of like, hey, nobody's talking about how good Jaden Daniels saving our team. They're keeping the offense real simple for him. He's running the ball a lot. It's a lot of like check downs, a lot of short passes. So, you got to watch the games. It's not really all
What
stats
you
and
think it
wins and
is?
losses and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
look.
I mean, again, I would no shade to Jaden Daniels because he actually can throw the ball down the field, but the offensive coordinator isn't letting. I mean, he has the highest rate by far of passes thrown at the line of scrimmage. It's like the end of the league average is 11%, and he's at like 35. So, it's not all on the quarterback here, but at the same time, it's game. That was game two. They're trying to get a feel for each other. And when it's not going to look good for Terry McLaurin until Cliff Kingsbury lets Jaden Daniels throw the ball down the field. So if you have him, you watch the games and see if they're starting to do that. And if you believe that eventually that's going to be a thing, maybe trade for Terry McLaurin now. So when they start throwing the ball more, you can have you a nice piece on your fantasy squad. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know if they can get away with throwing the ball behind, you know what I mean, just at the line of scrimmage every other down and all of that, and be a respectable football team. I think eventually you have to let your rookie play football, and he can do it. You guys drafted him to do this, to sling it. You know what I mean? Like he had who do you have? He had Neighbors and he had Brian Thomas Jr. last year. You think they were getting the ball at the line of scrimmage? No, they were getting that shit 45 yards down the field, and they was
But
making
that,
plays.
that but yeah, but those against college defenses, and obviously Neighbors picked six, Thomas picked in the middle of the first. Did they trade up to get Thomas? Am I
Nah, they
tripping?
just lucky enough they haven't fought to him. But
Right,
those
right.
cats can do it. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, those were against college defenses, but it's like Terry McLaurin. We've seen Terry McLaurin make plays in the NFL against stud DBs. It's not like he can't not do that. You know?
No, I'm not saying it's a Terry McLaurin issue. I'm saying it's more of like a Jaden Daniels issue where they might not, Cliff Kingsbury might not trust him yet. And
Right.
you saw
Right.
what Cam Taylor Britt said. Shout out to
College,
him. He,
college
he
offense.
he yeah, he's talking his stuff. Once again, best play I've seen all year still was that pick um
Mm-hmm.
against, who was it last week? I just know he
Oh, the
was
Chiefs. The
huh?
Chiefs. Oh, against Xavier Worthy. He was guarding Xavier Worthy.
Yeah. And before the game, he said, yeah, he's a speedster, whatever. But, we're not really worried about that. And then he had that crazy pick on him. I think, I think this is a good spot for the Bengals. They're 0-2. They play the Chiefs well. The beginning of their schedule is actually pretty easy. I was looking at it earlier, and it just feels like they were trying to set the Bengals up for a good start, and they're kind of fumbling the bag. Like they should at least be 1-1 right now. Maybe if they came out winning the Patriots game, they have a little bit more juice against the Chiefs, and they could easily be 2-0, maybe. You
Right.
know what I mean? And then they
Right.
have I think they have the Panthers. Yeah, they have the Panthers next week. They have the Ravens after that, but then they have the Giants. So You know,
Yeah.
that like these
So
next
I
couple
mean,
weeks are
the
very
schedule's
important for the division, man.
right. I mean, the schedule's like you said, it's pretty sweet for right now, and it's not going to be this week. You know what I mean? The entire season, so they need to capitalize. And I think this one right here, Monday Night Football, I think that they don't play with their food with this one. I think they come in here and they establish dominance, touchdown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins probably gonna get in the end zone too, maybe Zach Moss, solid start. This is the week that the Cincinnati Bengals get clicking on offense.
And it's kind of funny, the matchmaking. I the NFL's like a soap opera. You know what I mean? It's like the way they do their matchmaking is so funny to me because with this one, it's a doubleheader. It's Joe Burrow, number one overall pick from LSU versus Jaden Daniels, number two overall pick from LSU. So I think
Right.
that's interesting.
Mhm.
Obviously, Jamar Chase played with Joe Burrow at LSU. So, and even when it came to the Broncos, uh, I know we're kind of going back in time here, but I didn't mention it. But like with them, they had the Broncos week one go up against the Seahawks, who fleeced them in the Russell Wilson deal. And then they had them go against the Steelers, Russell Wilson's new team. You think they didn't do that on purpose? You didn't think they were thinking that, like, yeah, let's push that out early. They like the storylines, man. So,
Right. But I
so,
mean, it's going to always they're going to always have some storylines. That's just part of the game. You know what I'm saying?
that's why they're king. Crown them. But yeah, I like Washington to cover though. I think they could cover the 7.5. I mean, I don't
It's a
think the
lot of points.
Bengals. Yeah, it's a lot of points. Like this is the NFL. The games are closer more often than not. You know, blowouts aren't that common. You know what I mean? Like they're not that common. I feel like you see it more in early season and whatnot. But once teams get a feel for each other, there's a game script is out. They have a better read on some of these quarterbacks. You know, the quarterback carousel is always going around, and there was like what 5 or 6 drafted in the first round this year.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and these quarterbacks, these rookie quarterbacks, have been struggling. I mean, I don't think any of them have thrown a touchdown yet. I might be wrong on that, but I think that's the stat. Jaden Daniels hasn't thrown a touchdown yet. Has Caleb Williams? I don't think so.
Uh, did they get in? No, I don't think he. No, because Khalil Herbert scored a touchdown rushing last week.
Yeah, so none of these guys. So hopefully, you know, well for Washington, I don't really care how they do, but you know, hopefully Caleb Williams first touchdown this week. But hey, welcome to the league with these rookies. So yeah, I like the Commanders to cover, Bengals to win. They win their first one. It's going to be a really important game for them to get down because you have the Ravens 0-2 and they got the Cowboys. You guys
Right.
are 0-2 and you have the Commanders and you lost to the Patriots earlier. And let's be real, like the Ravens losing to the Raiders, more understandable than y'all losing to the Patriots week one with a rookie head coach and Jacoby Brissett.
Right. But
But
yeah.
so, all right. So we've been doing pretty decent on the picks. We do definitely want to get some graphics done where we kind of keep track of how our favorite 3 picks of the week are going week after week. But this is like, love, lock. So you want me to kick things off with my picks or do you want to go?
Yeah. You go ahead.
All right. So the pick that um, I like the Ravens in this spot, -1. It's a pick 'em. They're playing at Dallas. Dallas just had I usually don't like taking teams after good teams after an embarrassing loss, but I'm just hard pressed to see the Ravens go 0-3, and it's not just about you know the factor of them being 0-3. They've been 0-2. They haven't been 0-2 since 2015, but I just think in terms of the personnel, the Ravens are going to be able to run the ball. Cowboys, that's one of their biggest weaknesses is running the ball. And I think Derrick Henry has a good game. I think that, they just extended Justice Hill. I think they get him involved creatively, and I think Lamar Jackson finds a way to use his legs and incorporate some of that play action. I think it comes down to the wire, though. It's a close, high-scoring game, but I like the Ravens to cover that one. They go 1-2. Dallas goes 1-2. The game that I love is which one was it? Houston, another pick'em game. Uh, I just believe in CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be able to kind of figure out what Brian Flores is doing. It's going to be a chess match, but I'm just siding with the better quarterback here, the better quarterback play, and the weapons that they have over there in Houston. The Vikings, they've been playing well with Sam Darnold, but there's no Jordan Addison. There's still no TJ Hawkinson. I'm not overthinking this one. Yeah, they're playing in Minnesota, but it's not November, December yet. It's not that cold out, and I don't think it matters for a quarterback like CJ Stroud. I think in terms of Joe Mixon being out, they'll still figure out a way to run the ball on them. And I love the Texans in this spot to go 2-0. I mean 3-0, and the Vikings suffered their first loss. So one of these teams aren't going to be undefeated after this week. And then my lock of the week is New Orleans to cover at home, that 2.5 against the Eagles. I think matchup wise, and I kind of hate betting against teams that I don't like, similar to how I don't like betting with my Giants. Like I feel like the Giants, they're going to cover that 6.5 because I don't think Deshaun Watson is in a place to be in a 6.5, a touchdown favorite, the way the Browns are playing. But yeah, in terms of the Saints, I just think Kubiak, the way they're playing, I don't think they match up well. I don't think the Eagles match up well with the Saints. I don't think without AJ Brown playing, I think it's a completely different offense. And defensively, they're kind of a dud. And I think the Saints, Alvin Kamara looking like offensive player of the year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think he's going to continue doing this thing. He looks like he's in his prime still. So yeah, that's my lock of the week. So that's the Ravens, the Texans, and I got the Saints to cover.
Okay. So my lock or the game I love the most is I love Tampa Bay Buccaneers -6 against Denver. Yeah, I just really do not respect the Broncos at all. I don't respect the quarterback. I think Sean Payton is the game might have had passed him by. So I think that's a smash spot for Baker Mayfield and those boys out there in Tampa. And then my second one is I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to pull it out against the Chargers. That's just more of again, I think it's Mike Tomlin game. If Justin Herbert plays, he's going to be injured. He's not even going to be able to be mobile. He's playing with a high ankle sprain. And the last thing you want to do is have to play football with a high ankle sprain and then have to line up against TJ Watt. I just could see that not going well for them. It looks like the Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of getting behind Justin Fields and Najee Harris in this running game. I think that they'll be able to do enough on defense to limit the Chargers. And I know J.K. Dobbins has been killing it. He's been doing his thing, but I think they don't mind stopping the run, so they'll be able to lock that down a little bit.
And latest on Justin Herbert seems like still a game time decision an hour ago.
Right. I think that's a true game time decision. True game time decision.
And then, like you said, he's not going to be 100%.
Right. And then the one I love the most is the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts under 43.5 points.
We're doing. Hey, if I could do over unders for this, then I would put in that
you can do whatever you can do whatever you
want. So you're taking the over for that game?
I'm taking the under for that game.
You're taking the under.
Under for the Chicago Bears and then Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, I like the over.
Yeah, I'm taking the under. the team that just scored 13 points and the team that had 0 points against the Green Bay Packers for until the third quarter. Yeah,
I don't bet based on last week.
right. I bet based off offenses being bad.
And yeah, and I think both. I don't know. I think some funky stuff is going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of mistakes made, and I think there's going to be a lot of big plays.
So you think they're gonna be points scored by the defense or the special teams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
I mean, that's hard to predict, but
yeah,
like
yeah,
Caleb Williams got to come alive somehow, eventually, and Anthony Richardson needs to bounce back eventually.
right. So I don't know.
Both dynamic quarterbacks.
I don't know if it's going to be this week for AR. That Chicago Bears defense is actually pretty solid, and right now I just think Caleb is just struggling because he's just a rookie, and that's what happens sometimes in the NFL. I definitely think eventually he's going to get it going, but I just don't think it's going to be week 3. So that's my. I don't have a lock. I don't have locks. I don't believe in locks, but that would be my quote unquote lock of the week.
Nah, you believe in locks. It's a segment name. It's your lock. That's your favorite pick. That's your lock.
All right.
Lock
My favorite pick, though. It is my favorite pick. That's true. That is.
That's Austin's lock. He has the under for the Bears Colts. I'm looking up because I have like a whiteboard there, and I literally have Bears Colts with an O next to it because that's one of my favorite over-unders of the week. As well as, once again, it's probably the highest of the week, but that Lions Cardinals, that's a shootout. Stamp it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. All the data points towards it being a shootout, so you know what that means.
You try and jinx my shit. I would, but yeah, that's gonna be it for us. Make sure you like and subscribe. You got anything else, Austin?
No, just like and subscribe.
All right, man. Matter of fact, with the facts, and the fact of the matter is, it's any given Sunday, week 3. Let's get after it.
All right, see you guys.